following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. And welcome into a Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports Today for July 26, 2022. On the program today, Teresa Walker. Titans camp has begun. We'll talk with her about that. Plus, Chip Walters, a regular Tuesday visit around 3 o'clock Central Time today. Little SEC conversation and more. It is Tuesday, July 22nd. It is Main Street Sports Today. And we are presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, wearing the Sunday red with the Tri-Star, the Hall of Famer, and Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton, on your left. Complimenting with a nice white giddy-up on the top. The Sundrop Kid from Alabama, one Christopher Yao. Gentlemen, happy Tuesday.
He missed yesterday. I was wearing all black, so I went opposite today.
There you go.
What he failed to realize is this isn't Sunday red. This is Friday red.
Ooh,
Friday red for
The Braves. Don't they wear their red on Friday?
I used to wear it on Sunday, but now I do think they wear it on Fridays.
I was referencing or thinking about my Tiger Woods.
Oh, hello.
Sunday red.
All right, I got you.
But you're right, the Braves at some point, and I've been confused about when they do wear those red jerseys. I do like the red jerseys.
Speaking of alternate jerseys,
Yes.
that's weird.
That is.
Well
That
done.
was an easy segue there, huh? Yeah.
Didn't even come into that. But we will talk plenty about alternate jerseys later in this show, as it is our top 5 Tuesday topic, because of all of the obviously the Detroit Pistons announced that they're going back to their teal full time.
Why, by the way?
Bad mistake.
You say that everyone loves it.
Mm.
Everyone up there except for Joe Rexrode apparently loves the teal.
Well, I'd say Joe is right and everyone is wrong, because I agree with him.
Well,
Anyway.
there's a long story behind it. It's pretty interesting, but apparently they just saw so many in the crowd that they were like, clearly people love this, so let's go back to it. And their uniforms are kind of blah. There are four teams in the NBA with red, white, and blue,
And they're one of them.
so it's like, we got
Yes.
30, we got 32 teams, and
Philadelphia.
is Washington is back. They were,
Mhm.
and then
Clips.
the Clippers.
Yeah.
There's 4 teams. So they were like, hey, maybe we just, make it 3 teams.
We're going to bow out of the red, white, and blue. Okay.
And one of the coolest logos of all time. That 90s with the horse and the 2 tailpipes coming out of the 2 S's from Pistons, all for that.
Just in a different color.
Well,
I don't dig
teal,
teal.
but teal was so hot back then.
Back then.
It was except nobody liked it then, and everybody likes it now because the 90s are all coming back. The mom jeans, Birkenstocks. When Tommy Hilfiger hits, it's going to be all over but the crying. But seriously, the 90s are kind of coming back for younger folks, and I think that's kind of where they're headed. Anyway, top 5 alternate uniforms of all time we'll have. The NFL is now allowing an additional helmet, which means that they're going to allow some throwbacks, which I don't know that throwbacks are necessarily alternates, but they will be this year, so they are available to use in this top 5. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot going on today. So let's get right into it. And JP, do you have the rundown up? If not, we can do our top story.
I don't. Go ahead and get your top story in, and then I'll get you ready for the rundown.
Cool. Our top story comes from, I guess, Big Ten Media Day.
Opening kickoff.
It is an opening kickoff.
Okay.
Kevin Warren says that, quote, the Big Ten will have a footprint in the 3 major media markets, and that will allow them to be bolder.
Kevin Warren, the commissioner of the Big Ten.
Yes. Now, while that is true, I don't know if it's
True.
true. Yes, Chicago, New York, and LA are the 3 largest media markets in the country. Now, how many people?
And so you have Rutgers, which is in New Jersey.
Mhm.
So that gives you the New York market. You have Northwestern, which is in Chicago, which gives you the Chicago market, and you got USC and UCLA. I mean, you have a presence in those media markets. I'd love to know how many people in New York are reading about or watching Rutgers. Now, I mean, Northwestern probably moves the needle a little bit in Chicago. I don't know how much, but okay, that's fair. And then USC and UCLA?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't
people in
know.
LA aren't watching. The only people who are watching USC and UCLA football are
USC and UCLA fans.
fans. Right. You're not this is not the NFL. Here's the difference. The difference is it's college football. And while those three may be the biggest media markets, they're not the three biggest college football markets. The three biggest college football markets are Birmingham, Columbus, Ohio, which they do have. I'll give them that. And then it's a tie between Atlanta and New Orleans, both of which are
The SEC.
dead set in the SEC.
Well, now Atlanta.
No, it's an SEC market.
Don't get this started.
But come on now.
Chris, I'll give you credit, though. When we had Kimberly Bowden, the president and CEO of the College Football Hall of Fame, on our show last week, you did mention, or maybe it was the Chick-fil-A Gary Stoken, the CEO, one of the two, you mentioned.
Well, they had Georgia Tech in the game.
No, it
a
was
couple
Sankey.
times.
It was Sankey talking about going to Nashville next year.
Oh, yeah.
You said, hey, it'll be great to actually have the media days in a city that we have an SEC school.
I did say
You
that.
said that to the commissioner, Greg Sankey.
Hey, it's welcome change. I mean,
Well, I mean, there's not an SEC school in Birmingham. There's not one in Atlanta. So, yeah.
But that being said, Atlanta is definitely an SEC market, just as Birmingham is. I mean, of course, there's no other options in Birmingham like there are in Atlanta. But my point being that you might have the three biggest media markets, but 90% of the people in those markets do not care
about college football.
at all, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because they're pro markets.
Yep.
Period. So
Good
good try though, Kevin.
At least
you tried. Exactly. Hand him the cake.
Well, what more do you expect from a conference that calls themselves the Big Ten when they've got, 14 teams?
16 now?
Is it? Oh, yeah,
Coming
16.
soon to be 16.
They can't even count, and they act like they're so.
The Big 10, 14, 16, yeah.
At least they used to. Well, I mean, they had 11 forever.
Mm-hmm. And they were still the Big 10.
So, anyway.
Yeah. Why not just be the Big Midwest or something?
Isn't
that really doesn't even fit either. But
No.
Not anymore.
They are the new Conference USA.
Just call them the American Athletic Conference. The new.
Oh, wait.
no, that's taken too.
That's taken.
Or
And it was the Great
Hold on.
Midwest, not the Big Midwest.
How about the Great American Conference? Or the Big American?
the GAC?
GAC? The Big American? How about the Big American?
Well, Great American Country is like the alternate of CMT. So GAC is kind of already out there, too.
alternate. Yeah.
It's the great value version.
Go to the
of
back. The
CMT.
Big American Conference. I like
There
that.
you go.
The Big American.
Big American.
The Big Am.
The Big
Short.
AM. It's so terrible. It's all bad.
As is USC and UCLA in the Big 10.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's your top story. I don't think it's as true as he wants it to be. That's all I'm saying.
But I mean, what's he supposed to say?
Right. He's the commissioner.
And I'll give him that.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, at least you tried.
There you go. All right, JP. It's a short, quick,
It
and
is short.
fast one today. So run them down. What happened yesterday? What's going on today? Bryce Wilson.
This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated. All right, don't blink. Here we go. Monday's results. Braves, they fall to the Phillies 6-4. Reds over the Marlins 11-2. Cubs, did they win there, Chris?
They won.
They won. Okay, they defeated the Pirates. Rockies 2-0 over the Brewers. Tuesday schedule, it's all Major League Baseball as well. We've got the Pirates, the Cubs. They're already in progress.
3-0 Cubs.
3-0 day game at Wrigley.
Bryce Wilson on the bump for the Pirates, and he has thrown 3 innings, 3 earned runs, which earns you a 6.66 ERA.
There you go. I like it. All right. Elsewhere, the Marlins of the Reds tonight at 5:40. The Braves of the Phillies 6:05 first pitch. Twins and Brewers at 7:10. And that is your Tuesday rundown, brought to you by GrowLiveGive.com.
Old habits die hard, man. He did so good for like 3 weeks. Didn't run them. Today, just throw him in there for the heck of it.
There we go.
Jim's not been a sponsor for a month.
Yeah.
It's all good. Old
What's
habits.
happened in a month? Yeah.
I'll,
Hey, thank you, Jim Davis.
there you go.
All of your time and effort over the last couple of years.
There you go. Teresa Walker joins
One
us.
last goodbye.
Teresa Walker joins us on the other side of the break, talking Titans right after this. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Still to come on this Tuesday edition, we've got Chip Walters joining us around 3 o'clock today. Also, we've got talking a little more SEC football. So stay with us here on Main Street Sports Today. Back to the Hall of Famer and Sun Drop Kid from Alabama. Here's Mo and Chris.
Hey, welcome back in. It is Main Street Sports Today. Glad to be with you here on this Top 5 Tuesday as we get ready to talk about alternate uniforms and the best of all time. May even throw in some worst of all time because, I mean, there are a few. And one of them comes from the Steel City. That's all I'm saying. But I'll digress for now because we are joined on the show by Teresa Walker of the Associated Press, who has most certainly spent some time at St. Thomas Sports Park this week, I assume. Teresa, how are you? How are things going?
I'm good. Let's just say this, that I was really glad that it was just Mike Vrabel, John Robinson, and VP of Player Personnel, Ryan Cowden today, because And yeah, thank goodness for the cloud cover, because it was nice to ease in with just a little bit of sweat, knowing that the worst is yet to come. So any day you can squeak out and not be drenched as if you jumped in Amulet Lake, as they call it, around the Titans fields, it's a good thing. It's a good day.
I'll agree with that.
No doubt. So what kind of words of wisdom did J. Rob and Ryan leave you with, Teresa?
Well, let me see if you've heard some of these before. It's a new season. Can't linger over that Bengals loss to, it's time to move on. Jeffrey Simmons.
Even though Amari Hooker said otherwise.
Well, that's the thing. I remember one year when the Titans had a loss to, it was actually their first year in playing in Tennessee as the Oilers. They had a loss to the Bengals in Cincinnati where they gave up so many yards to Corey Dillon that number was on the board in the defensive meeting room for months to remind them of that. And to make sure that would never happen again. So, it's fun. Sometimes it's, we're moving on. In fact, Mike Vrabel did say that when I asked about, trying to go off of last year being the number one seed in the AFC and having to, and trying to now build this team and moving forward. And he used the phrase, "We've moved on." So yes, can you tell that he maybe once played for some guy named Bill Belichick? So, the highlights, Traylon Burks is, he's looked good these past couple of days, but guess what? Got to string those together. Jeffrey Simmons is here. And when John Robinson was asked about contracts, he's like, well, we do those on a case-by-case basis. So, he's talked to the representation of Jeffrey Simmons, other players as well, because that's the thing. The last few years, it's almost become a John Robinson thing that somebody gets an extension right as they get started at training camp and then the first couple of days. So, Taylor Lewan, Kevin Byard. So very curious to see if one of those come up in the next few days. But Jeffrey Simmons is here. He's under contract for this year. He's also got the 5th-year option for next year picked up. I'll just say this, guys. It feels like a deal, an extension gets done sooner rather than later with Jeffrey Simmons. Now, this is not them. This is me speculating based on past experience. Jeffrey Simmons, only 2 defensive tackles in the entire NFL got more votes for the AP All-Pro team than Jeffrey Simmons. He tied with Chris Ford from Kansas City. If he can have the same year he had last year or better, that price tag is going up, 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 up. So very curious to see what happens there. Caleb Farley had a couple of picks yesterday. Mike Vrabel said that he kind of surprised him a little bit to see that length that Caleb Farley has got, that, he's a tall cornerback. I think he's 6'2", but there's one thing to use your height, but when you can use your arm span, no, I do not use the phrase wingspan. We're not talking about velociraptors. We're talking about, human beings. So arm span. So Burke's healthy. Simmons is here, and Caleb Farley is, not on the PUP list. They're going to be, they're not going to be throwing Robert Woods into Caleb Farley full into every single practice. But the fact that they are available for practice as they get going into camp is a very good thing for the Titans.
Teresa Walker of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. And Teresa, as you mentioned, Taylor Lewan and his extension from a few years back, I was reminded of a tweet that I saw that fortunately distracted me from my television viewing last night because I much needed that distraction. But I'm going to read this tweet that was posted at Taylor Lewan 77 at 9:17 last night. With camp, and you may be familiar with it, but
I saw it.
Okay. With camp/season right around the corner, I have decided to take the season off from all social media. I've seriously enjoyed treating these apps as if they were group chats, but it's always good to have a detox. Big hugs, tiny kisses. What was your thought when you saw it? I didn't think you would be drinking water there because.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
No. I'll say this. When I saw it, and I still think today, I'll take the under on how quickly or how long that vacation lasts, just because he is a prolific user of social media and he has his own podcast, Bussin' with the Boys. So that's a bold move. And when Mike Vrabel was asked about that, he was like, yeah, it'd probably be good for all of us to take some breaks from social media. But he also joked that Taylor was inside the building kind of itching. So, I don't know about y'all, but I got 2 phones, one for each hand. So when I'm not on one of my phones, I feel naked. So I can only imagine how Taylor Lewan is doing. And, maybe we should have a pool in the media just to see when that next tweet comes.
I can't believe it. Y'all don't?
Not yet. We were a little busy, Mo. I'll get it set up tomorrow. I'll let everybody know. Buck a pick.
What do you thought? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
If he makes it through camp, I'll be surprised. But if he does, he might make it through preseason.
Through preseason.
That's it. He will not make it to week 1. Will not. 0 chance. But if he does actually do this, I will be very interested to see if it impacts his play, because, half of this game is mental. And if
I thought 90% of this game was mental,
the
and the other half was physical. That's what Yogi Berra said anyway. Yeah.
That was probably in the top 5 Berra quotes that we talked about. But that's the thing is, you got to get your mind right to play this game. And at times, Taylor looked a little lost. So at least that's what we think. But it's interesting. I certainly think it's interesting.
Well, let me chime in. Taylor Lewan has been very open during the offseason program in June that a year ago, he was very much still recovering from the ACL, couldn't run in June a year ago. And that the entire season was a struggle physically, mentally, just, knowing that his body was not where he's used to having it be. He's a very athletically gifted left tackle. That's what's made him so good to start his career. But that idea, this is the first time he'd really ever been injured. So, dealing with that, knowing that, getting through the game week and practice, and then knowing that on Sundays he was not going to be the guy he was used to be, and having to kind of gut and grind out a tough season. And so now he's healthy. And he also mentioned, he knows that, that it's the NFL. If you don't perform, bye-bye. So, he didn't say it exactly like that, but he understands that he needs to go out and perform well. And it's why I think that, this Tennessee Titans team it has been kind of, downgraded, especially on the offensive line, by what John Robinson called these video game rankings that we've seen over the last 2 weeks for teams in their position groups. And he is going to have a chance to help them snap back closer to the unit that, frankly, blocked for Derrick Henry for 2,000 yards in 2020, and an offense that was second in the league in yards and tied for 4th in points. He's going to be a big piece of that, and he's healthy. And, he seems to be having fun. I mean, he talked to us a bunch in June, and, you can just, he seems much more relaxed, and can't help but think that his physical ability and just simply feeling like himself will play a big part in all of that.
I take all of what you said, and what I hear is he has no excuses.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, Mo, because that's the thing. He's cutting out the social media apps so that he can focus on his job and, trying to be the best that he can be. And without a doubt, there are no excuses. He's healthy. Knock on wood at this moment. He is a veteran who needs to go out there and perform, because the release of Roger Saffold, who had probably the best season on that offensive line last year, certainly their best run blocker. The fact that they released him certainly has to have it in Taylor's mind that I better play better, because, guess what? I can be gone too. I mean, they did draft Nicholas Petit-Frere out of Ohio State. So, they've got an option should they need it moving forward. So nothing like pressure to, to have somebody maybe help them play their best.
That's a big deal. And everyone needs to be playing their best this season, because obviously that offensive line is different than we've seen it over the last few years. Of course, it's been nothing but hodgepodge for 2 years, it feels like. But without some of your other anchors, you got to be the guy. I mean, it's you.
And they're paying him to be the
Right.
guy.
So I think
I mean, what he's put on the field over the last couple of years, knee injury and other things aside, if he wasn't on the deal that he is on, I think some people would be a little bit more forgiving of what he has put on the field. But between what he's being paid and what he said, I think the scrutiny is there, and deservedly so.
but he's got to
Well,
be the guy
and-
this year. Period.
Well, and here's another thing. I just double checked his contract. He's under contract this year and next year. And the fact of the matter is he's like a $14.6 million cap hit this year with $1.7 million in dead cap money. Then next year, $14.8 million is the cap hit. So he'll be 32 next year. That's pressure. You want to give them a reason to renegotiate your contract, to give them cap space next year and keep you around for a couple more years. So, the pressure is absolutely on him if he wants to be here in 2023. And those numbers are from Spot Rack. He signed this deal in 2018, that when he was 27. And so, pressure. Hello.
Pressure's there. Pressure's on. I have to think that this team still has the chip on its shoulder, which for a team coming off of the number 1 overall seed in the conference, that's a good thing to have. Maybe the media is a positive for the Tennessee Titans. It's exactly what Mike Vrabel wants, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. I mean, hello. This team went through 91 players last year, right? They've had 6 straight winning seasons. When Taylor Lewan arrived here, this was a joke. This franchise was struggling, going through a couple of coaches, quarterbacks. They get Marcus Mariota, and then things have settled down to where, and now they're 2-time division champs. But that's not the standard anymore. I mean, the expectation is to, be ready. In fact, Mike Vrabel said, all we can do is, come out and practice and be as physically fit and be conditioned and, put ourselves in position for January. John Robinson said a variation of that. You try to make sure you get in the tournament and then you go from there. And so trying to get to the postseason now is the standard for this franchise. And then, and Taylor Lewan and some of these older guys, it's up to them to help lead the way so that they can, do what they, you go up to any player and they're going to say, yes, I want to win the Super Bowl. And everybody says it this time of year. It's like, yeah, I think we're a Super Bowl team. Well, the Titans are among the small handful that can say we really are shooting for a Super Bowl. In fact, Kevin Byard made it kind of clear early, back in April that, high expectations for this team, for this defense, but you have to actually go out and do the work. And it's, comes down to putting your money where your mouth is and go make it happen.
Teresa Walker of the Associated Press. Teresa, what bobblehead is that on the very end of your top shelf there? Is that Kevin Dyson?
The very first one on the end, that's Steve McNair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just very curious because we have this Kevin Dyson bobblehead, but he only has one arm, and we were hoping we could spare one. You could spare
Sorry.
one.
I've got Steve McNair and Eddie George. Those are my only 2 Titan ones, and those are credit to my mother-in-law, who a season ticket holder, who gave those to me. I did not acquire those myself.
And they are both in one piece, right?
Yes. Now, I do have some Grizzlies bobbleheads on the other side of my home office. And when I was trying to move them around and put them in a more permanent home, I had a problem. Some of them broke. I had to glue Doobie Brown.
It happens to other people.
Yes,
It
JP.
Teresa.
But it happened to her when she was actually attempting to do something with it. This was just friendly fire with Dr. Dyson.
Poor Dr. Dyson.
It's still there though.
He's there.
I'll try to swing through CHS and see if he's got any spare ones.
I'll say this about Dice. He takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Oh,
There's
well
that.
done.
And if it makes me feel better that at least I got it at Goodwill. So some season ticket holder didn't want it, and I got it for
Dang.
$5 and good.
So we
That's
were lucky to
cold.
have it in the shape that it was for as
Yes,
long as we did.
Absolutely.
It was all a bonus.
It was.
Don't cry that it's over. Smile that it happened, right? Yeah, okay.
Oh, Teresa, thank you again for taking some time. As always, we really appreciate it. It's Teresa Walker Tuesday here on Main Street Sports
Teresa
Today.
Tuesday. Hashtag.
Hashtag Teresa Tuesday. I'm for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
now
you.
it's time to write my story of the day.
Good luck.
We'll be looking for it.
Retweet it
And
later.
when we
Thank you,
come
guys.
back, we will be talking about the Southeastern Conference's preseason football standing voting
Voting.
from the media. So, yeah, we'll get to that right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant with you here on this fine Tuesday as we get ready to talk about the Southeastern Conference and media voting. I've got my ballot pulled up over here. JP's HDMI cable came out, which for a brief moment was sending us echo back, and it was a little weird, but we're good now. Good now. All good. Yeah. So the SEC's media voting,
which was announced Friday, but we weren't able to discuss it because we weren't on Friday and neglected to discuss it yesterday, which is probably just as well.
Yeah, we had plenty of stuff to talk about yesterday, to say the least.
And I think our Friday show, even without this content, was pretty good.
Pretty darn.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's talk about it.
Let's do.
So first thing we have to mention is that Vanderbilt received a first place vote.
As both the SEC East winner and the SEC champion. I assume both those came from the same place.
Now, what that Well, it would have to, because you can't be in the SEC championship game without winning the East. So, yes. My question is, I can't believe they gave JP a vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you get air quote fans. No, yeah, there's always one.
Wasn't
right?
you? Well, it must have been Billy Derrick then, because I
Yeah,
can't
it may have
imagine.
been Billy
It might have been Billy.
or Kevin Ingram.
Kevin.
No.
No, it would not. I know, it
Kevin's
would
in
not
the
have been
house.
Kevin.
No.
He was there though.
He was there.
Mhm.
So, first place vote receivers in the East, Georgia received 172, Kentucky 4, Tennessee 1, South Carolina 3,
Wow.
and Vanderbilt 1. I guess they really believe in year 2 of Shane Beamer.
A lot of folks are.
Or
Which is
Spencer
more
Rattler, I'm not
surprising?
sure which.
3 for Carolina or 1 for Vanderbilt?
Oh, 3 for, well,
3 for Carolina.
No,
I think 3 for Carolina. I mean,
it's
you-
more surprising than 1 for
well, I
Vanderbilt.
think you can have one cuckoo that is
Yeah.
a homer. That's
But
not
3?
surprising. That's not the first time. But 3 that actually think South Carolina? You got 3 homers down there doing that?
Must have been. There's no chance.
In the West, Alabama had 177 first place votes. Texas A&M had 3, and Arkansas had 1.
Arkansas.
And you know what? I really don't have any beef with those.
So I will tell you, my SEC West ballot is exactly what the media picked
In order,
in order.
Alabama 1, A&M 2, Arkansas 3, Ole Miss, LSU, Mississippi State, and Auburn.
That is exactly what my SEC East or West ballot looks like.
In the East, the media voting was Georgia, Kentucky, which I think you could have thrown, realistically, you could throw Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida in a bag and draw out any of them for the 2, 3, or 4 spots. But the media voted Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, Missouri, and Vanderbilt.
I did not have it that way. I had Tennessee at 2, Kentucky at 3, South Carolina at 4, and Florida at 5. I'm just not sold on Billy Napier yet, and I don't know what they've got.
You just don't know yet.
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting from South Carolina. I think they're pretty good.
You think they're that good?
I think they're better than Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Florida.
You think they're better than Florida? That's
I
fair.
just don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to go with South Carolina because of what I do know,
Mhm.
and that's the only reason Florida's at 5.
I think
Well-
Florida's one of those that's going to be either like first or second, or they're going to be 6th or 7th.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think they're anywhere in the middle because they obviously quit on their coach last year. Now, and the coach may have quit on them. The question is,
How
what's
do you
left over
recover
there?
from that?
Yeah, how do you recover?
are
Do
you
wash it clean, and are they competitive, or does that still linger? And
Even
takes
under a new coach?
Yeah, and it takes a year for Napier to get things under control.
And it's a
question.
quarterback-driven game, and I feel like Spencer Rattler is better than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
I'll
that's.
agree with that.
I think you got to go with that rationale. If you're starting to weigh a couple, I think you start with the quarterback, Mo, and that makes sense.
which is why, and this is what, every time Auburn is ranked 6th or 7th, they end up winning the stupid thing. Never fails.
That's right.
That's
But-
not going to happen this year.
Well,
It's been said before.
clearly, I mean,
what did he just say?
literally just, but that's, I had some Auburn fans, the media doesn't respect us. I'm like, listen, you've got the worst quarterback situation in the division. So that's where that's the only reason you're at 7.
Well, the
And
most
the
turmoil
question-
with the coach
And the question of your head coach.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on, but you have the worst quarterback situation, and your head coach has been
And your head coach may or may not be
there by the end of the
by
year.
the end of the year.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm sorry, that's just how it works. But Auburn's over under for wins on the season sits right now at 6 in FanDuel.
Mm.
I'm here to tell you to hammer the over. Hammer it.
Because of what you just said.
Because of that, and they're going to start the season 4-0, and they get LSU at home. And
So that means you have them winning 3 conference games.
Josh Pate of Late Kick with Josh
Mm-hmm.
said something, and I think he got it from somewhere else, but I heard it on his show, There is not a better home field advantage anywhere in the country than Jordan-Hare Stadium, because the juju in that place is just off the charts weird, right? So they're going to beat Penn State. They're going to beat Mercer. They're going to beat Western.
You think they beat Penn State?
At home?
In Auburn.
At 90-degree heat?
At Auburn at 2:30 Central Time.
Yes. They will beat the brakes off
The
of
weekend
Penn State.
after, well, it's September 17th. So, I mean, it's a September day game at Auburn.
They will beat the brakes off of Penn State.
I don't know if they're going to beat the brakes off of them, but I would take them to win. Like you said, Mercer, San Jose State, Penn State to open, and then Missouri is homecoming. Homecoming, week 4.
And then LSU at home. Now, they're not going to beat Georgia, but they beat Ole Miss last year.
How do they open with 5 straight home games?
Got lucky.
Get all your 4 non-conference right there at the beginning.
Well,
No,
they got Western.
they've got 3 because Western isn't until November
before Bama.
19th.
Okay.
Yeah. But they beat Arkansas last year, and they get Arkansas at home. Now, I don't think they're going to beat Arkansas, but I certainly think they can beat Mississippi State.
Sounds like you should have had them higher than where you put them.
No.
Because they finished with A&M and Alabama.
Yeah, they're
That's
done.
2 of their last 3 games.
Yeah, they're done after that. But
So how many wins in the conference do you have them going?
In the conference?
Missouri,
Okay.
which is Missouri,
Yeah. Mississippi State, you said. There's 2.
Mm-hmm.
and I think they beat LSU at home.
Okay. So you do think they win
so that's
3.
3.
Would that still put them at
That puts them
7?
if they
It
go
would be-
undefeated in their non-conference, yeah, that's 7 because they've got
Seven,
But I
Mercer.
mean, does that put them last place in the West?
I think
With 3 conference wins.
it depends on what
In the West,
It depends on what Ole Miss does and that sort of thing.
Okay.
well, it depends on what Mississippi
I mean,
State
Mississippi State,
does.
not Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? They can win 7 games
And still be last in
and
the
still be
SEC
last in the
West.
SEC. At
Which
least tied for last.
which tells you a lot about the SEC West.
Yeah, I mean they could tie for 6th or whatever, but
Mhm.
I mean you can't put that in the
In your voting.
So
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But hey, look, it is one of the weirdest places in the world to play because you never know what's going to happen.
The overwhelming pick for SEC champion to regain that status is Alabama. They received 158 total points in the balloting. Georgia second with 18, followed by South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. So
I went with my first team running back. I went with Texas Christian's greatest running back of all time, Zach Evans.
well, understandably so.
I
I mean, why would you not? I mean,
he's Texas Christian's greatest running back of all time.
greatest running back of all time, better even than LaDainian Tomlinson. So
Go
why would
figure.
you not have him? Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I think Alabama's going to win. I mean, but hey, Georgia, apparently South Carolina. Who knows?
Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman, Darnell Wright, all second team selections from the University of Tennessee. Cooper Mays, a third teamer on offense. Defensive lineman Byron Wright, selected a first team defensive all SEC performer. Jeremy Banks and Trevon Flowers both named to the third team. And Paxton Brooks, third team all SEC punter preseason. No Vanderbilt players anywhere on first, second, or third team.
It's okay. All right.
With Bresnahan not? I voted for Bresnahan.
No Vanderbilt players.
Surprised. I voted for Bresnahan at tight end. I think he's a really good one. He's got a shot.
The top 3 quarterbacks, Bryce Young, obviously Hendon Hooker, and Will Levis, the third team quarterback. So
There you go.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break. JP, I do want to go to halftime for just a moment because I do want to give you this update on one of our former wild and wacky stories. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone Joints. Back after this.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
All right, it's halftime real quick, guys. You guys remember when I told you about the man who was going to push the peanut up
Up the mountain?
What mountain was it? What Pikes Peak was it? Up some mountain. Yeah.
Somewhere.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was Pikes Peak.
Okay.
It was a real mountain, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
14,115 feet. And he did not crack under pressure, as he did manage to push the peanut to the top of the peak, and
With his nose?
did it over a 7-day period, and finished on the 14th, a couple weeks ago. He did most of the push at night and went through roughly 24 peanuts along the way. So apparently not a singular peanut was necessary.
Dude was probably in traction after that, though.
So what? You just stop and say, "Hey, I need a new peanut."
It's probably at night. Well, I guess because, yeah. I guess you just have to push a peanut every step you take. It doesn't have to be the same peanut. So, like, if the peanut falls
Off
away,
to the side,
yeah, then you could just put
replace
another
it.
peanut. That seems like cheating. This is not nearly as exciting as it was when I thought it was.
If
just
you
one
had to
peanut.
play it as it lays,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Exactly.
it falls, you got to go get it. You got to push the same peanut. That's. Yeah, I'm not as excited.
You're
about
not
this.
as impressed, huh?
No.
Who's making these rules?
Guinness.
The folks pushing the peanut, I'd imagine.
Unbelievable. That the rule makers obviously cracked under pressure when they made these up.
His nose had the aid of a homemade contraption, a CPAP sleep machine with a duct
Okay.
tape spoon on it. So he put the.
So he wasn't actually even pushing it with his
Even
nose.
his nose.
He was pushing with a spoon.
Taped to his nose.
Taped to his nose.
What?
These rules are very arbitrary.
How long was the spoon?
That's
Is there a limit
a
to
regular
the
spoon.
length of the spoon?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that he still had to do it, at least crawling or
We know that for sure. Could he had a long spoon,
I guess that's
like an elephant trunk?
Well, I mean, was it a teaspoon? Was it a serving spoon? I mean,
Exactly.
what kind of spoon?
Well, it was a CPAP sleep machine with a duct tape spoon on it. So
Nothing was touching his nose
nothing.
because the CPAP.
Yeah, it goes over your face.
So he didn't push it with his nose. He pushed it with his face.
Bogus.
That's
Bogus.
yeah.
Bogus.
There's another word for it that starts with a B, but we'll go with bogus.
I'm out on the 53-year-old Colorado man who pushed it.
Yeah.
Now, hey, well done for climbing the mountain at 53. Give you that.
Yeah. Kudos for that.
But
But the peanut
the peanut
pushing?
thing,
Thank you for the update, though.
there it is. We're back with Braves talk after this. Main Street Sports Today. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best-looking girl, Bananarama, so other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Second half action here on Main Street Sports Today. Coming up, Chip Walters will be joining us talking all things Blue Raiders for his weekly visit. We've got Braves talk and Top 5 Tuesday. So all that coming up in our second half on this Tuesday. No extra apparatus needed for the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama. We do this with our own hands and feet.
Our phalanges.
Our phalanges. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Gentlemen.
How unlucky was Max Fried last night?
That was a tough one. Although I just scrolled across a tweet from @ScottColeman55. There were 12 games played Monday night. The team with the better record lost 11 of them.
That's rough.
So, I mean, it happens. Over 162 game schedule, the better team does not win every time out. But yeah, Max was really unlucky.
Apparently, and let me try to figure out what this means. An experimental stat that adjusts and normalizes the home run component, which is expected fielding independent pitching, XFIP, is based on the average number of home runs allowed per outfield fly. Last night was his lowest outing since the Dodgers outing where he went out and dominated. Max had an expected batting average last night of .069 and gave up 3 earned runs.
Well, I mean, if you saw that ball, I mean, the shortstop, and I can't think of his name at this point. All I know is he was hitting 190 coming into the ball game. The ball that he hit early in the game that had that crazy spin to it when it hit in front of Matt Olson and took a hard right across the foul line to score 2 runs in the second, third inning. I don't remember.
We'll see it here in just a second.
Is it going to be here?
I'll tell you this.
Okay, yeah.
It's amazing how much Michael Harris looks like Jason Hayward in the face when he's up there hitting, by the way.
A little shorter, but yeah.
But, I mean, when you just see a straight-on shot of him, you're like, holy crap, he looks a lot like Jason Hayward. This play right here was big. I mean, obviously the Braves scored a couple runs off of, they called it a hit.
I don't know how they did call that a hit.
Initially they did. They may have come back and made it an error, but this, the Braves obviously take a 3-0 lead here in the second, and you're feeling pretty good if you're with Max Fried on the bump, if you're the Braves. Sure. But the baseball gods said not tonight, and that does happen. I think this is the play right
This
here.
is it.
And, I mean, I don't know what you do as a player there.
I don't.
With
I
the
mean,
ball. I mean, it bounces in front of the plate. I mean, do you try to charge that? Do you try to go? Because if you do, then you have to make a throw to first instead of just
or a tag. I mean, it's a tough play, and I don't know how many balls you're going to see do that. That one,
and that may be the only one of all time. So tough night for Max Fried, obviously, and then of course AJ Minter, who's been lights out all season, gives up a couple runs and.
But again, that dude drove in 5 of Philadelphia's 6 runs in a 6-4 Philadelphia victory, and I've got to find his name because it's driving me nuts, but it's their shortstop. And again, came into the night hitting 190.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just what you're going to get sometimes.
It's baseball. It happens. His last name is Stott, S-T-O-T-T, not Scott. Bryson Stott. He raised his average to 196 last night. And again, had 5 RBIs.
5 of his 31 on the season.
Yeah, 2 on that little squibber there and 3 on the home run to win it. You don't want to give up home runs to 190 hitters. But again, they drive Mercedes too, right?
Oh, they most certainly do. And, you know, that's what you have to expect if you're a Braves fan. Look, this team they're still pretty good. And the Braves just, they struggle. And
they are still 35-13 since June 1st.
There is that. So I'm not freaking out. You know, obviously the Braves have struggled to close out series. So now that they've lost one, perhaps they won't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, we'll say this. Bryson Stott, before last night in the home series against Atlanta, the last time they played, 4 for 7. So, he's kind of got the Braves number.
And that happens as well.
You remember when the Braves had Strasburg's number forever? That dude pitched terribly against Steven Strasburg. You remember that guy?
Yep.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
Same draft class as Mike Minor, by the way. I didn't realize that. But yeah, so it is what it is. Braves play tonight in Philadelphia. Win the series.
Aaron Nola versus Spencer Strider tonight.
Win the series. Mm-hmm. Mets lose a couple at home to the Yanks, and
we're there.
Everything's all hunky-dory.
There we go. This day in Braves history, July 26, 2011, Atlanta walked off the Pirates in 19 innings, but not without controversy. Julio Lugo was ruled to have scored from third on a ground ball to Pedro Alvarez, despite Alvarez's throw and ex-MTSU catcher Michael McHenry's tag being in time. Plate umpire Jerry Meals made the safe call to end the 6-hour, 39-minute affair, but later acknowledged it was an error. So did MLB Vice President Joe Torre, though he announced it would not be overturned. 3 days later, Pittsburgh, which had been battling for the top spot in the NL Central, started an 11-game losing streak. That night was the beginning of the end for the Pirates.
Isn't it the Braves broke the Pirates that night.
They did. Or that morning.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to come back. Weekly visit with Chip Walters coming your way here on Main Street Sports Today. So stick around. We'll be right back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant on the controls. Glad to have you guys with us here on this Top 5 Tuesday. Got a lot to get to, and I'm looking forward to it because it's Tuesday, and that means we get a chance to talk to Chip Walters, who we unfortunately did not have on our show last week, and we missed you, Chip.
Oh, I'm sure you had plenty of stuff going on there on Radio Row.
We did, but we miss you.
Well, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
So glad to have you back with us, back in the rotation. And as Chris said, a lot to talk about, man. We will get to some football scheduling announcements here in a second, but you guys rolled out the 2022 Hall of Fame class last week, I guess, in bits and pieces. And the final announcement was a guy whose name is quite familiar in these parts and a little bit farther south, current Giles County principal Don Thomas, former Lincoln County standout.
He was, and Lincoln County has been good. Has been good to the Blue Raiders over the years for sure. And Don,
is Tommy in?
No, he's not.
Okay.
But Mr. Holcomb is, and I'm sure Tommy Barnes will be will certainly be in the conversation. And and you think about Lincoln County guys, Bert Talley had a pretty good career as an offensive lineman there, the late Bert Talley, who we lost way too soon. But yeah, it was one of the things that I think is really interesting about this Hall of Fame class, which included, and I'm gonna screw this up probably, but make sure I've got all my folks here. Leslie Clark Vance, her married name now is Vance, outstanding volleyball player. We had gosh, I've totally gone blank here, but Don Thomas, who, Don's a big tough guy, but the announcement brought tears to him, to his face. We had Kevin Kanaski, all-time leading assist leader for men's basketball. We had Sandy Neal, who was the very first female student athlete, scholarship student athlete at Middle Tennessee, which I think very apropos that happens on the 50th anniversary of Title IX. Sure. Brian Peck from baseball. Who am I missing?
You are missing Crystal Horton.
Crystal Horton, who was she is one of two players on the women's side who have played in 4 different NCAA tournaments and won games in 3 of them. And still she works at Providence Christian Academy here now.
Okay. Sandy Neal was a tennis player, by the way, and coach at one point. Is that right?
She was the first really paid coach, I guess. Women's tennis prior to 1972 or so, there was a women's or there was just a GA in the PE department that kind of coached women's tennis. Sandy played at Bradley County, she was a every sport athlete at Bradley, came to Middle because she wanted to be a teacher, and she settled on tennis. When she got here, she'd been a very good high school basketball player, but there was no real basketball team. There was a tennis team, and so she got talked into playing tennis and became very good at it. And then when her time was over, she became the grad assistant tennis coach for a year, and while she was getting her master's, and then when that year was over, they, Title IX had really not only were they starting to fund scholarships, they were starting to fund coaching positions as well. And that opportunity came her way, and she was Middle's first full-time women's tennis coach, and did very well in the Ohio Valley Conference. And she said she actually learned how to be a coach because there were really no female mentors as older coaches at the time. It was, going to the library, checking out books, and seeing, just what, other male coaches on staff would share with you about how to deal with players and things like that.
Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. And Chip, now when is that Hall of Fame induction?
Well, and by the way, we forgot Brian Peck in baseball.
No, you didn't. You got him.
No, did I get him? Okay.
Yeah, you got
Brian Peck played at Meigs County High School, and then I think at Shelton State, and then got in as a 2-year player, a JUCO player for Coach Steve Peterson. But the format is changing just a little bit this year. And that is that Hall of Fame weekend is not going to be a standalone. It's going to be combined in with homecoming weekend, which is a big weekend for, former players and, just former everybody's to come back. And this year that'll be the weekend of October 14th and 15th. And the induction ceremony, which had been on Saturday morning, is now moving to Friday night. And it will be at the Kennan Hall of Fame building, which will allow on game day, our inductees will be part of the homecoming parade, and to be honored that way. It also gives them time to tailgate before the game with Western Kentucky, and will still be then honored on the field at some point during the game. And it really opens up the schedule and allows the inductees to enjoy their friends and family a little bit more on game day, and still have all of those who would be coming to the ceremony doing that on Friday night.
That's awesome to do it on homecoming, especially against Western. 100 Miles of Hate should have a great crowd for it. So, yeah. Speaking of football.
Yeah, big news today.
Football news to get to. Ain't no doubt.
Well, which big news are you referring to?
Well, let's talk schedule first.
Well,
which of the scheduling news drops would you like to talk about first?
Well, let's talk about today's, and then we'll backtrack a little bit.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, it was announced today that Middle and Memphis will resume their series, and that is it'll be in Memphis in 2024, and back in Murfreesboro in 2027. And over the years back, both of these schools started somewhere right around 1911, and they played 27 times over the years. Middle has an 8-game lead in the series, and the last stretch of games came from 2009 to 2014, and Middle won 4 out of 6 in that stretch of games that were played between Floyd Stadium and the Liberty Bowl, and some really outstanding contests. And that's a series that that really has a lot of juice to it from recruiting, and you got two schools who I think kind of feel like they're somewhat on a more level playing field, that both are part of the group of 5 right now, with Memphis being in the American Conference and Middle and Conference USA. And it's been a nice, spicy, in a good way, rivalry, especially this last stretch of games that was played.
It just feels like to me that this is a series that should be in place. With Middle getting so many kids from Memphis, both in recruiting and just on campus in general, I think that kind of adds to the juice of it.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of interesting, and to back up your point, Mo, is that last week when the announcement came that Middle and Marshall are going to resume play, but it was almost like one of those Notre Dame announcements, 10 years down the road, 2031 and 32 or something like that. But when the social media posts went up today about Middle and Memphis, I just saw, handfuls of replies with Middle people calling out their Memphis friends and vice versa, and saying, "Here we go, it's on," that kind of thing. And it's again that mid-state West State rivalry that is always there as well, just about in anything, whether it's from football to barbecue, the 615 and the 901 kind of go at it a little bit.
No question they do. And
I didn't realize how similar the logos are on the helmet. It's
a little too similar, but anyway.
It kind of is.
You mentioned, Chip. Now again, the 24 game will be taking place at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
Correct.
As Harold Grader of the Liberty Bowl informed us last week, and then
I'm going to have to practice that.
Yeah. The Liberty Bowl is no longer, I guess. But another announcement, and Chip, as you were talking about it, I thought this was announced this morning, but apparently it wasn't. Alabama completes its 2023 football schedule with MTSU and Chattanooga. Now, we're not really caring about the Mocs, but Middle going to Tuscaloosa next year.
That is correct, and while Middle has not put it out yet, but I think I'm not sure how it got out through Alabama. I don't know whether I guess they put it out there that they had finished up their scheduling, but what I heard, that's obviously a pay game. It'll be Middle's 3rd trip to take on the Crimson Tide, and this will be down at Bryant Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. It'll be the 2nd trip there, and the first meeting was in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to that. It's always good to go down there, and if I'm correct, that means at the beginning of next season we'll have Middle going to Alabama and then to Missouri, and then before completing the non-conference portion of their schedule. So it's interesting that the whole Missouri thing, it was, the Blue Raiders were supposed to open at home with Missouri this year. And when they had a new athletic director come in, the new AD invoked the separation agreement for this year's game, which paid Middle Tennessee $800,000 to not play the game this year. But still, the 3rd game, it was a 2-for-1. The 3rd game is still on the schedule for next year in Columbia, Missouri. And at that point, that's where James Madison came into the picture, who was desperately needing a home game. And they were willing to pay fairly well for that as well. So that's how all that ended up, with Middle going from having a home game with Missouri to a road game at James Madison to start the season. And I think it all works out to somewhere around, $1.5 million going into the coffers from the way that whole thing worked out.
I take it that the new Missouri AD must have gone back and looked at the last trip MTSU made to Como.
Yeah, very well could have been, for sure. That was a heck of a day. Brent Stockstill, that's one of his signature wins as the starting quarterback, and that was a day where Middle got out ahead, and it was a track meet. I mean, just a lot of scoring, and the Blue Raiders put up 50 plus on the Tigers that day, and
dude said if they scored 50 on us here, no, we're not going down there.
That's right, and that was that worked. It ended up there was a good day for the Blue Raiders, and if I'm correct, I know former Blue Raider Glenn Ellerby was the offensive line coach, and was Josh Heupel on that staff? He may have been the offensive coordinator.
May have been
before going to UCF, and of course, now they've got Drink up there, and after Midland won there, his AD did him a solid right there by paying to get out of that game, and I think they ended up with either Louisiana Tech or Louisiana Monroe or somebody playing in Como this year.
So I think they did everybody a solid, because again, you guys are going to clear about $1.5 million for that weekend, and that's not nothing.
Well, and they'll get paid $1.6 million from Alabama, according to this. The way it got out, Chip, is AL.com asked for the public records request and found out that Middle and Chattanooga would be on next year's schedule, paying Middle 1.6 and Chattanooga just getting $600K. So
Middle should have a little higher price tag.
There's that. But no, it's a lot going on in the world of MTSU sports. And
tomorrow, by the way, is the Conference USA kickoff, and Coach Stockstill and two players, Jalen Lane, who I will tell, they're guys, and I know you guys are big Chris Rowland fans, and Jalen Lane is that kind of guy. I mean, he's one of those offensive guys who does things offensively and on special teams. He's worth the ticket price, and he's just a sophomore. So exciting, things to happen with him. And then Jordan Ferguson, who's one of the all-time great citizens with what he's done. He's now a finalist for the All-State AFCA Good Works team for his nonprofit work that he does, and he'll be there with Coach Stockstill. He and Jalen are with Coach Stock down in I think they're actually doing it in Arlington, but in the Metroplex for tomorrow. That gets underway early in the morning. Middle goes on at 11 a.m. and you can see that on ESPN Plus.
Cool.
There you go.
Sounds good. Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us here on Main Street Sports today, as he does every Tuesday. Chip, we appreciate it, man. We'll catch up with you. Well, almost every Tuesday. We'll catch up with you next week.
See you guys.
All right.
All right, we'll be back after this.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Welcome back in. Quick break there as we get ready to give you our top 5 Tuesday, top 5 alternate uniforms of all time. As we said earlier,
NFL alternate uniforms, right?
No, just in general.
Oh, well, mine are all NFL. So.
I understand. That's fine. But this kind of came about because the NFL is doing the extra helmet, but also the Pistons and their teal thing kind of came up. So I was going with just anybody. And I
said any sport, right?
I'm going to read you this text. Top 5 NFL alternate unis parentheses of all time close parentheses question mark.
Well, that's certainly my problem.
And when was that sent, by the way?
That was sent at 10:10.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry,
but
I was out of
it's also on the board behind you.
NFL alternate unis.
The board doesn't say NFL.
The board, because I forgot that I said NFL. But you're right.
So what are we going to go with then?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It's a good thing because I've only got one NFL team on here.
Okay.
Although I will say my worst list certainly comes from a lot of NFL.
Oh, without
Pittsburgh
question.
Steelers,
Chicago Bears.
The stupid thing that the Lions used to wear on Thanksgiving, and the Packers when they wore that brown crap.
Yeah.
Looked like paper
Plenty.
grocery sacks or whatever.
Plenty of ugly NFL uniforms. Yes.
The neon green that Seattle wore a couple of years ago.
People feel about that about like they do about your teal, though. It's a very polarizing color, that neon green.
It was on all the worst lists that I saw. But yeah, I mean, there are some people who love it. So
There's a reason they keep wearing it.
it's disgusting.
It looked like a highlighter.
Anyway, yeah. So we will go, I guess, with the top 5. You'll have NFL. I'll have randoms.
Yeah. It's all good.
That's okay. That's a good thing because we will likely not have the same ones, and you will probably agree with at least 3 of mine.
Yeah.
So
all right,
there you go.
And because JP has been feverishly and so adequately producing the show.
Adequately.
Adequately.
Just adequately, yes. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
He hasn't had a chance to compile a list, so go ahead, start it up.
I will start. My number 5.
Well, did we say who our Top 5 Tuesday was brought to us by?
That's right. We need to tell you about Top 5 Tuesday being brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness, SteelAthletes.com, STEEL Athletes.com. Dallas Steel and the gang doing a great job. Follow them on Instagram at Steel Athletes as well.
There we go.
My number 5 is the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks, teal, purple, etc. Yeah. That one.
My number 5 is, again, it's all NFL.
All NFL.
So the San Francisco 49ers, all black with the red numerals.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I forget, is the outline white or gold?
No outline.
No outline?
Just red on black.
I don't like that. It's hard to see.
I think it's pretty sharp.
It might be great up close, but from a press box, it'd be tough. Remember, that's why they put the black outline around the Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because you couldn't see it.
Yeah, it started to all run together from a distance. Yeah.
But either way, it's still a good look, the all black.
Sure.
My number 4, and this will be one that you will absolutely agree with, is when the Braves wear the 74 white and blues.
Without question.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my list. Yeah.
The Hank Aaron, Ralph Garr, Phil Necro
Still that one.
throwbacks. Yeah.
That's one of the best alternate uniforms in the game.
It might be the best alternate uniform in baseball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the only baseball one I have.
My number 4 is the Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders with the silver on white with the black outline.
That's not usually. Obviously, they have the black on white, but when they do the silver with the black outline, it's sharp. Which black and silver can be sharp.
Sure.
Just about any time.
Absolutely.
Big fan.
Solid colors.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll throw one at you here.
What you got?
Throw one at us.
The Phillies baby blue from the 80s.
Well, except it's the Phillies.
I know, but it's still a good look.
All the baby blues.
Yeah, that was. It's been widely panned, but at the time it was pretty good stuff.
The Royals do it now occasionally. The Phillies still do it occasionally.
The Braves don't
The Braves
because they've
don't.
got the 74s.
Right.
So yeah.
And the Reds. My number 3, or you got a number? No, that was my number 3. The Air Force Red Tails. When they did it was a one-off, but they did a really awesome job with that uniform. So.
My number 3, and again, mine are all NFL, but the Detroit Lions with that slate gray that they do.
They wear on Thanksgiving. Or having
their Color Rush.
That's it. Yeah.
Which is ironic because it's a Color Rush uniform, but it's gray.
It's gray.
But it's not the old school, but it's their normal font. It's just a full gray uniform, and it is sleek. I'll agree with that 100%.
You got one?
I'll throw another one at you. And a lot of my colors are going to be the same, but Ole Miss, when they wear the baby blue jerseys the red helmets and the gray pants. Now, they've been wearing it a lot more, so I don't know how alternate it is at this point.
Sure.
It is their alternate because their home is
Officially,
navy.
yeah.
Officially, their home is navy. White is the road, and baby blue is their alternate.
It's a good look. I like it.
My number 2 is the Titans two-tone blue, baby blue top, navy blue pants, or navy blue breeches. I'm sorry. Got to call them breeches or they get angry.
Not pants. My number 2 is the Atlanta Falcons throwback when they go all black
with the helmet, the red helmet.
Yeah, I like
or
the
the
red,
white helmet.
The red
Which
helmet.
one?
The red helmet.
Red helmet, all black, 100%. Looks great.
Yep. JP, you got anything?
No, you can skip me on this one. Go right ahead.
My number 1 is the Ole Miss powder blue. I mean, it's the best looking with the silver pants. Can't beat it. Love it.
My number 1 is the best uniform in football, college or pro, alternate or otherwise, San Diego Chargers.
The powder?
No. The white with the lightning bolts at the shoulders.
But the powder, it's the powder color though. The powder in yellow, not their navy and yellow.
No. Yeah, the powder. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with the white helmet and the
White helmet,
and
white
the number and the bolts and the number.
Yes, bolt and number. Gotta love
It's
it.
a solid look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would make my list. I am going to go Homer on this one, and the first thing that popped in my head, I think it was Derek Mason. I can't remember if it was Mason or if it was the other guy.
The guy before him?
The guy before him.
James Franklin?
Thank you. But the deep sea, I think
James
they call it the deep sea uniforms. The helmets in particular.
Deep water.
Deep water.
Yeah, the
Deep water
gray
uniforms.
Yeah,
They're all great, but the helmet in particular had that metallic
Chain on it? Or
Yeah, and it was like the anchor was floating in water.
Yeah.
It was that was a solid look, in my opinion. Again, my home.
I don't disagree. I think Tennessee's blacks
Oh, yeah.
are great. Just not on my list.
Exactly.
All right. There it is. Top 5 Tuesday brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness and Dallas Still in the gang. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have Heather Williams joining us to talk NASCAR as always. Later in the week, we've got Jeff Passan. Jeff Passan.
ESPN.
Of ESPN. He'll talk some Major League Baseball with us. We've got, of course, Jeff Him on Friday. All of that coming your way later in the week. Tomorrow, Wild and Wacky Wednesday. I got plenty already ready for you. So we in the game.
Why am I not surprised?
We in the game. Well, normally I'm searching, but yesterday I was lucky. I came across 2 or 3, so it worked out. But we got all kinds of great stuff coming at you later this week. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock Central Time.
Julio Jones signing with the Bucks.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Brady, man.
Yeah, there we go.
The geriatric Bucks are coming your way. And we'll come your way tomorrow at 2. So for JP and Mo, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. See you then.